What's good, family? Today I want to talk about how to read your credit report. So, if you're somebody who is trying to fix your credit and you've noticed you have a lot of negative accounts like collections, charge-offs, late payments, and even sometimes, extreme examples like child support, bankruptcy, foreclosure, anything negative on your credit report, student loans that are, you know, have a lot of late payments now because the government no longer has the pause on student loans, so people are effectively having late payments and it's blindsiding them. So I want to show you how to read your credit report from beginning to end and learn some valuable insights, lessons on what you can do to you know remove the negative information from your credit report so you can have excellent credit. You can go from 400 to almost 800 credit score just by understanding what's being reported and what to pay attention to and how to fix it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen right now. For the sake of this, I went ahead and blocked out the personal information for this person. Left a little bit here just so you guys have an understanding of, what's going on. Okay, so this is someone's credit report. This is actually somebody that just reached out to me and they need help with their credit. So, first thing you want to pay attention to when looking at your credit report is obviously, you're looking at your scores. And one of the best ways to, get your report is either going through annualcreditreport.com or simply going to some credit monitoring sites like Identity IQ. I'm going to drop the link for Identity IQ at the bottom. Um, and also, there are many different ones out there that you can check out, but I usually go with Identity IQ. It's easy to read. The other ones out there that have the same user-friendly, interface, but all right, first thing you want to do is pay attention to the credit scores, obviously. This is a very up-to-date report. This was June 3rd, 2025. This client has a 517 on TransUnion, a 500 on Equifax, and a 568 on Experian. These are all pretty bad, in essence. It says poor, poor, fair. So if this person wanted to go for funding, they probably would get denied. If they wanted to get a auto loan, they get a really high interest rate on their car. Um, Probably have no chance of getting a house unless they just do some, you know, some what do you call loopholes or whatever to get a house. But so yeah, first thing you pay attention to is the scores. Next thing you want to look at is the personal information section. And on the personal information section, it's going to be broken down to several different categories. So first one is going to be, the reported name. For example, John T or John Doe. You're gonna want to make sure that it's your first name, your middle initial, your last name, or you just want it to be first last name. And you're gonna notice with your report, or if you're a credit repair company, and you're looking at other people's report, you're going to see so many different names, like, as known as, or misspellings of the name. You want to make sure you update that to just reflect the accurate spelling of your name. So you want it to be John Doe or John T. Doe. All right. Next thing you want to see is the date of birth. Sometimes they will only give you the year. Sometimes they'll give you all, the year, the month, the day. You just want to make sure that stuff is accurate. And if it's inaccurate, obviously you want to update that as well. Next thing you're going to see is the social. For the most part, you're going to just see the last four of your social. Sometimes they don't even provide that at all, which is fine. But yeah, and employment, sometimes they'll say employer, employment info. I always like to have an employer on my credit report because it's crucial when you're applying for funding. You want to make sure you have something there. It could even be a business name, but make sure you have something. You don't want anything like unemployed or retired on there because when you're going for funding and they see that you are unemployed, they will definitely make it harder for you to obtain funding. So definitely want to have something, even if it's like a past employer you worked for, just keep it on file. It's going to help you in the long run. and then your address. You're gonna see a lot of, outdated addresses on here. And sometimes even when it says your current address, it could be an outdated one. And sometimes you're even gonna see an address that doesn't belong to you. You've never lived there. It's just reporting. And sometimes they even put like your business address. If you're a business owner, you're gonna see your business addresses on there. And what you want to do is call the credit bureaus. You can go on Google, search each one, find their number, give them a call to update your personal information and to remove anything that is outdated or incorrect. Because you want everything to be pristine. You want it to be just one name, one employer, one address. You don't want all this, mix match information because it's going to hurt you. And sometimes a lot of this inaccurate information is connected to negative accounts. So by removing those personal information that is inaccurate or outdated, it's going to help you when it comes time to dispute those negative accounts from your report because they are now disconnected from that outdated information, and it's going to help the accounts fall off much faster. Okay, so the next thing you want to pay attention to is the account summary section. You're going to notice, each bureau or each credit report has a different amount of information on you. So you might have a collection, but it's not reporting on all three. That's fine. It's actually a good thing if it's not reporting on all three, but sometimes it will report on all of them. But just to go down through the categories, you're going to see the bureau name, right? This is the TransUnion report. This is the Equifax report. This is the Experian report. And this is the breakdown of the summary of each report. So on the TransUnion, this person has a total account of 17. And on his Equifax, he has 9. And on Experian, he has 5. That could be by design or that could be a mistake. So for whatever reason, the creditor or the company is not reporting on these other two, you can give them a call if you're somebody who wants them to have all of your accounts matching uniformly across the board. You give these creditors or companies a call and explain to them how, they're not reporting your positive payment history on Equifax or Experian, and you want them to do that. And they should go ahead and do that. And here, it says this person has 1 open account on TransUnion, 8 on Equifax, and 4 on Experian. Just like I said, you're going to see a different variety of information, different amounts. That's fine unless you want to make sure they're all uniform. Closed accounts, he has 16. Here has 1, here has 4. And now we go to the negative information. We're looking at the delinquent. He has 7 delinquent accounts, 7 on Experian on TransUnion, 7 on Equifax, and 3 on Experian. So, that's good that he doesn't have that many, but obviously he only has 5 accounts on Experian, so he wouldn't be able to have 7 delinquencies. But you notice how it is an advantage not to report all negative information equally. And now we go down to derogatory. They have 15 on TransUnion. They have 8 on Equifax and 3 on Experian. And then, you can look at the balances. This is showing a $25,000 balance, 420. This is just the total balances of each account, aggregated on each report, just being reported. And, monthly payments or the aggregate amount of payments that you're paying per month. And this person doesn't have any public records, so they don't have a bankruptcy or, for instance, they don't have any liens, foreclosure, anything of that nature is not being reported here. And their inquiries is pretty low, which is also good. You don't want to have too many inquiries on your report. It would be best to have 0, but obviously sometimes you have an inquiry that's attached to an open account, and that's fine. Um, but here, he has 4 inquiries, and that's kind of getting up there. We want to keep it to 3 or less, and that's very important when it comes time for funding. Okay, so as we move down, we are looking at, accounts, right? We're looking at this account, for example. We're trying to sniff out and find out where the negative information is hiding. So right here off the bat, you are looking at this kickoff lending. It says it's in good standing on TransUnion. It's also good standing on Equifax. However, there's a past due on Experian. So when you notice that, that's what you want to dispute. You're like, how come I have all positive on TransUnion and Equifax, but on Experian it's negative. Okay. That's where you want to dispute that so they could update it to positive, especially if you plan on continue making on-time payments. You want to make sure that any past due or negative information that's being reported is removed. And you can simply do that by sending a dispute and just, letting them know that they're not reporting accurately because how is it it's positive on other reports, but it's negative on Experian. They should update it to positive or provide you with the information that is, verified and saying that you were late. And for the most part, they're not able to do that because they're not that, they don't keep documents like that. Okay. They get paid to report information. They're not paid to like obtain and preserve like, contracts and, letters and all that stuff. So yeah, and if you look at the detail of this account, this is just a continuation. You'll see that it shows the account has, a 60-day late payment. And the times it was late, it says 1-1. However, over here, it says 0-0. So no late payments on these two, but it's late on over here. So that's what you want to dispute because these two are positive and this is late. Now, even if all three are showing a late payment, you can still dispute that. You can find other ways to dispute that pretty much. So, oh, actually, this is great. Now, it says this account is in good standing, but if you go closely over here, you would notice it says late 30 days. So that's the status. So how is it saying it's in good standing? But when you look into the, thick things, the details, it shows you late 30, late 60. So which is it? Is it late 60 or is it late 30? That's how you want to kind of dispute things, and that's how they ultimately remove it because it has to be accurate, and because it's not accurate, they have to remove it. All right, we're gonna go to another account. So that okay, so this is still the same account, so there's more, evidence to help you in your dispute. You can see the payment history here. It's all positive. This one doesn't actually have much of any reporting. It says not available, not available, and this one says 3060. So how is it showing um inconsistencies even within the actual account information? It's saying in good standing, but it's also saying you're 30 days late. But when you look here, you don't even know what month the 30 days is being reported. So how are they verifying that information? Okay, we go to the next account. This is an American Express. When we look, it says in good standing. So for the most part, everything says as agreed, as agreed, as agreed, in good standing. This is a authorized user. So yeah, nothing bad here. So we just move on. And so we go in the next account. This is the Capital One. It also says that this is what is the status? It says individual dispute resolved. As agreed, as agreed, as agreed. And it says account delinquent 90 days past due. Remarked previously in dispute resolved. So now this is another example. So this Capital One, when you look here, there's a lot of conflicting information, a lot of conflicting details. So when it's showing a credit limit of 600 over here. So it's showing zero here, so 600. We know it's a negative account because it's saying the times late was 3060. You see that right here. Over here it's saying times late was 306090. So this one and one right here is correlated to the times late. So right now it says 30 days late once, 30 days, I mean 60 days late once. And here it's saying 30 days late once, 60 days late once, and 90 days late once. And here it's saying 90 days late. If you scroll, if you look further down, it's the same thing. And it's saying as agreed, as agreed. So this is another way you can dispute it because you have, a 60, a 90, and a 90. So which is it? Is it 60 is a 90? Um, and that's ultimately how you can dispute that and get the late payment removed because it's not reporting accurately. All right, so we continue to move on. Um, so if you even look at the payment history, you notice how it says 30, 60, um, which is fine, right? It goes from 30 to 60 days late. Here it says 30, 60, 90, right? And over here it also says 30, 60, 90. So we're looking at this account and we're noticing there is no 90-day late reporting. Here's showing a 90-day. Here's also showing a 90-day. And you can still dispute that because there are inconsistencies and that's inaccurate according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, we go to another account. This is American Express. This account is showing um, so far, I don't see any negative information. So we go to the next available information. So yeah, we move on. Everything is good. We don't need to touch it. Now we're looking at a student loan here. If you see it says this one is closed in good standing. So far, nothing negative. We continue to go and voila. Whew. Okay, now right here it shows that they were 90 days late, 120, 120, 120, 120, 120, 120. Okay, so that is not proper reporting. So how can you go from 90 to 120? It should be 90 to, well, it should go from 120 to 150, right? If this account is closed, right? If we go back one page, it's saying this account is closed, right? Um, and they're still reporting 120, 120, 120. How are they doing that? Like it should go from 120 to 150, 150 to 180, right? And usually after 180 days, most creditors, most credit companies will just either charge off the account or they will turn it into a collection. They will sell the debt to a third party and the third party will collect on it. However, over here, it's not reflecting an accurate payment schedule for late. So that is something you could dispute, or you could actually delete completely. You can delete this entire account completely because it's not reporting correctly, and this is a form of fraud. Okay, they got to report this stuff accurately, and if they're not doing so, you can delete this entire account from your TransUnion report. You can delete it entirely from your Equifax. And if you look over here, it's not reporting on Experian. So um, we move on. Now, over here it says another student loan. It says closed. Over here it says in good standing. So that's a little iffy. Now, here we go again. This is a negative account, right? It's showing late over 120. If it's over 120 days late, why are you still reporting just 120, 120, 120? You want to dispute things like this off your credit report. Um, that is how you get deletions because you are noticing the inaccuracy in reporting. And when you are versed in the Fair Credit Reporting Act and you understand how things are supposed to look on your report. That is how you get these credit bureaus to remove things from your credit. And that is how you can go from a 500 credit score like this person does to over a 700 credit score in a matter of days, right? Because you understand that things have to be reporting accurately. And 9 times out of ten, whether it's a positive account or a negative account, they will not report this stuff accurately, right? We just went through like 4 accounts and we see the amount of inconsistency. Imagine the billions of credit data that these credit bureaus receive on a daily basis. There's always room for error. And you should never feel like because you have bad credit, you cannot fix your credit. All you have to do is just pull your reports, your credit reports, and look within them to find any issue. And when you're looking at negative accounts, you're looking for where the inaccurate reporting is taking place, and that is how you have things deleted. Let's go through a few more. This is a student loan. Let's get just go to another one. Yeah, you notice a lot of student loans are showing 120. And I'm assuming this client just, yeah, it says April. Um, well, this client never paid their student loans pretty much. I thought it was going to be 2025, but yeah, this is going all the way back to 2019. So, um, they most likely want to remove all of these student loans from their report versus trying to just remove the late payments and then start paying on time. Okay, this is another student loan. This one was a charge off. If you look right here, it says U.S. Department of Education, says account status charge off. So they have essentially sold this debt or well, right here you see where it says collection charge off. So it could be that they sold the debt or they're still collecting on it. But even that being the case, they still have to report things accurately because what if you make an on-time payment, right? They can't just keep reporting 120, 120, 120, 120. It has to follow a consistent um, timeline. And if it's a charge off, it should be reporting a C or a CO. And you might see that in other accounts if he has that reporting, and you can understand what I mean. But yeah, this is educational. This is another student loan that's charged off. Yeah, this man has a lot of student loans, and all of them are charge off or late payments. So as we continue to shift, okay, so this one says CC. Um, so this is actually okay, this isn't a student loan. This is a this is a credit card most likely, and this is a collection charge off. So in this situation, it's the same thing, right? You're looking at the details, right? This says this account was opened March 28. Okay, that's good. March 28, that's fine. So we can't really use that against them. Um, the account number is incomplete. That's another thing you will notice on your credit report. They should be reporting every single digit, but because they're not, that is another way to delete things because we don't know who this belongs to, right? Because we don't have the full transparency. Um, so yeah, that's another way to go about it. And let's see, last active March 12th, March 12th. So everything is pretty consistent up here except for the account number. If we go a little farther down, we look at the times late. It says 30, 60, 90, 0, 0, 0. But over here, it's saying 210. Hmm, that's a way to remove this account. Um, yep, you can see the collection charge off. Indicated right here on the payment schedule or the payment history, and we can just continue to go. So yeah, when an account is charged off, they can continue to report this charge off, right? They can't say like charge off 120, charge off 150. It's got to be if it's in charge off, right, and you're not making any payments, it's got to report charge off all the way through. Now we're looking at the inquiries, right? He has one inquiry here, and one thing you want to do with inquiries is you want to make sure if you're trying to remove an inquiry, it is that the inquiry is not attached to any open accounts on your credit report or any positive account. So if an account is closed and it's closed in a positive status, you still want to keep that inquiry, unless it's been 2 years, right? That's the rule. If it's been more than 2 years, you can remove an inquiry from your credit report. If it's not falling off automatically, you can literally call the credit bureaus and say, hey, this inquiry has been on my report for 2 years to date, and I need it to be removed. Even though it's attached to a positive account, I don't want that account to be impacted. I just want the inquiry to be removed because I don't want to have excessive amounts of inquiries. And they should do that, especially if, they have the information is showing the 2 year limit. But to go back, if an account is not attached to, if an inquiry is not attached to an open account, you want to remove it. And the reason is because when you're going for funding or when you're going for a mortgage or when you're going to get a car, they are looking at all these details in your report. And if they see excessive amounts of inquiries, it's showing them that you're not being approved when you apply for things. And if you're not being approved, it's because you're a high risk person, right? It's risky to lend you anything because otherwise, they would be attached to open accounts, right? You go to get an auto loan and you have one inquiry and that inquiry is connected to that auto loan. Now, if you go to get an auto loan and you have 12 inquiries and only one is attached to an auto loan, it's showing that they had to run your credit several times just to find someone who was willing to lend you money. And usually, the person who ends up lending you money or the company who ended up lending you money is probably charging you a really high interest rate because you've been through so many other lenders and they decided not to go ahead and fund you. That is why you want to remove all those other inquiries because next time you're going to go for funding, say now you want to apply for a credit card, um, and they obtain a copy of your report, they do a hard pull, they don't see those inquiries that came from being denied an auto loan because now you've cleaned up your credit, you've been making on-time payments, you don't have anything negative on your report, right? So it's like, okay, this person is disciplined, this person is, financially stable, this person is responsible. They are now willing to lend you capital and with better interest rates and better terms and a better contract because they're looking at your financial resume, right? Your credit report is like your financial resume, and you're seeing everything looks clean and everything looks good. So this pretty much concludes it. This is how you look at your credit report. Some people will have a lot more information on your credit report, so they would have to take more time in terms of actually going through each account and finding the negative ones. The thing that is cool about credit monitoring is they will highlight the negative information for you, so um, it's easier to locate it. If you go through like, ordering your reports directly from the credit bureaus through annualcreditreport.com or um, just calling them and requesting a copy, you have to like do your due diligence and make sure you are sifting through each account to find the negative information because it won't be as user friendly in terms of locating the negative information. So it's always good to do both, right? You can order the copies directly from the bureaus because they're going to give you the accurate information, and you can sign up for a credit monitoring like Identity IQ to make sure you are um, able to locate that negative information a lot easier. And so, it cuts your time. Time is of the essence when it comes to fixing your credit. And you want to make sure you're moving proactively and you're taking care of business as fast as possible. And yeah, so this is pretty much it for the video for how to read your credit report and, notice any negative information. I'm a credit repair. I own a credit repair company, I should say, and I've helped a lot of people go from the 500s to the 700s. If you're somebody who needs help fixing your credit, um, reach out to me in the comment section, or better, you can. I'm gonna leave my Instagram link down here as well, so you can actually go to my Instagram and book a consultation with me, and yeah, and I can help you get to the 700 club, like they say, and remove all the negative information on your report. And if you're somebody who actually has great credit and you already understand this information, and what you're looking for is funding, especially like zero interest funding. We're talking about banks like Chase, Truist, Bank of America, US Bank, Amex, and you want 0% interest funding, definitely reach out to me. Go on my Instagram, comment funding on my DM, and I'll definitely get you in contact with a good underwriter that will help you get access to the type of funding you need for your business or for your personal um, needs. Okay. So yeah, that's it for me today. My name is Phil Gotti. Definitely follow, subscribe, And comment below if you have any questions. And if you found this valuable, please share it with people who are struggling with bad credit and need help. Peace out.